What if your very existence was a wish come true, but also your deadliest curse? A princess is born with skin as white as snow and lips as red as blood, the perfect child of a loving queen. But after a tragic death, a shadow falls over the kingdom. A new evil queen, consumed by vanity, rises to power. Her only confidant? A magic mirror that cannot lie. For years, its answers soothed her pride. But when a young Snow White blossoms into the fairest of them all, the mirror's truth ignites a fire of pure hatred. A royal huntsman is given a terrible order, a heart is demanded as proof, and a terrifying chase into the dark forest begins. This is not just a fairy tale. It's a story of survival against a jealousy so powerful, it seeks to poison innocence itself. In a grand castle nestled among snow-capped mountains, a kind-hearted queen sat by a window framed with black ebony wood. As she sewed, she watched the snowflakes drift down, blanketing the world in white. Lost in thought, she pricked her finger, and 3 drops of crimson fell upon the freshly fallen snow. Looking at the striking colors, she whispered a heartfelt wish. "Oh, how I wish for a daughter," she said softly, "with skin as white as snow, lips as red as blood, and hair as black as ebony." Soon, the queen's wish came true. She gave birth to a beautiful princess, a perfect reflection of her dream, and they named her Snow White. For a short time, the castle was filled with joy. But this happiness was fleeting as the good queen passed away, leaving the king and his young daughter in sorrow. A year later, the king remarried, bringing a new queen to the kingdom. She was stunningly beautiful, but her heart was cold and filled with a dark, consuming pride. Her most prized possession was a magic mirror. Every morning, she would stand before it and ask, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?" And every day the mirror would reply, "You, my queen, are the fairest of all." This answer was the only thing that brought her joy. But Snow White grew, and with each passing year, her beauty became more radiant. One fateful morning, the evil queen asked her usual question to the magic mirror, but this time, the answer was different. The mirror revealed, "You, my queen, are fair, it's true, but Snow White is 1,000 times fairer than you." Rage erupted within the evil queen. Consumed by a jealous fire, she could not bear the thought of anyone being more beautiful than her. She summoned her most trusted huntsman and gave him a chilling command. "Take the princess deep into the woods," she ordered, her voice laced with venom. "Kill her, and as proof, bring me back her heart." The huntsman, though loyal, had a good heart. He led the innocent Snow White into the forest, but when he drew his knife, he saw the terror in her eyes and could not bring himself to harm her. "Run," he urged, "run deep into the dark forest and never come back." To deceive the evil queen, he killed a wild boar and presented its heart instead to her. The cruel queen, believing Snow White was dead, rejoiced. Alone and terrified, Snow White ran through the tangled, menacing trees of the dark forest. Branches seemed to grab at her dress, and strange shadows danced around her until she couldn't run anymore. Just as she was about to give up hope, she stumbled into a small clearing where a cozy little cottage stood. Hesitantly, she knocked, but there was no answer. The door was unlocked, so she peeked inside. Everything was tiny and immaculately clean. A small table was set with 7 little plates, 7 little cups, and by the fireplace, there were 7 little beds all in a row. Exhausted and hungry, she took a tiny nibble of food from each plate and a small sip from each cup. Then she tried each bed until she found one that was just right and fell fast asleep. That evening, the owners of the cottage, the 7 dwarfs, returned from a long day of mining for gold in the mountains. They were shocked to find their home had been visited. Lighting their candles, they tiptoed inside and found the beautiful Snow White sleeping peacefully. They were so enchanted by her gentle beauty that they didn't have the heart to wake her. When she awoke the next morning and saw the 7 dwarfs, she was startled, but their kind faces quickly put her at ease. She told them her tragic story, and the dwarfs, feeling sorry for her, offered her a deal. "If you will keep our house tidy, cook, and clean for us, we can stay here and we will protect you." Snow White happily agreed, and a new, peaceful chapter of her life began. But back at the castle, the evil queen's triumph was short-lived. She approached her magic mirror once more, confident in her victory. "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?" The mirror's voice echoed, "You, my queen, are fair, it's true, but over the hills with the 7 dwarfs, Snow White is 1,000 times fairer than you." The evil queen screamed in fury, realizing she had been tricked. She descended into her secret chamber and, using dark magic, created her most wicked trick yet: a beautiful, tempting poison apple. One side was a healthy, harmless white, but the other was a deep, glossy red, infused with a deadly sleeping potion. Disguised as a humble farmer's wife, she traveled to the dwarf's cottage. Snow White, remembering the dwarf's warning, refused to let her in, but the old woman was clever. "Surely you can accept a gift," she said, holding out the apple. "To show you it's safe, I will eat the white half, and you can have the red." The queen took a bite from the harmless side. Seeing this, Snow White's fears vanished. She took the apple and bit into the beautiful red half. Instantly, the poison took hold, and she fell to the ground in a deep, death-like sleep. When the dwarfs returned, they found her lifeless on the floor. They tried everything to revive her, but nothing worked. Heartbroken, they couldn't bear to bury her beautiful body in the cold ground. Instead, they built a magnificent glass coffin so they could always look upon her peaceful face. One day, a handsome prince was riding through the forest and came upon the glass coffin. He was so captivated by Snow White's beauty that he couldn't look away. He begged the dwarfs to let him take her back to his castle, promising to honor her forever. Moved by his sincerity, they agreed. As the prince's servants carried the coffin, one of them stumbled on a root. The jolt dislodged a piece of poison apple from Snow White's throat. Her eyes fluttered open, and she sat up alive once more. The prince was overjoyed and declared his love for her right then and there, asking her to be his queen. Snow White and the prince were married in a grand celebration, and their kingdom was ruled with kindness and joy. This wonderful fairy tale reminds us that true beauty lies within, and they all lived happily ever after.